Into the deadly Amtrak crash that happened overnight. Deborah Hersman is the former chairman of the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
Your initial thoughts as you see what happened last night, overnight in Philadelphia.
You know, of course, our hearts go out to those that were injured and the family members that have lost loved ones. But I'll tell you, the daylight is extremely helpful for investigators to get on scene, to identify any perishable evidence, and to gather those all-important recorders.
This is certainly going to raise questions about, at this point, have we invested enough in infrastructure? Has Amtrak invested enough in infrastructure? Can you give us a framework for thinking about this as the investigators get to work as to what happened?
Sure, and I will tell you, as far as infrastructure investment goes, this is really a huge issue in our country. You all know this is a tremendously traveled corridor, this I-95 corridor, and so shutting the Northeast corridor down, not just for the Amtrak trains, but for commuter trains around Philly, is a huge issue. And so while they're doing the investigation, that will be shut down, but they're going to be looking very closely at the human, the machine, and the environment to understand what caused this crash.
What's the process like for the investigators?
So they'll arrive on scene, and really what they're looking is to secure any evidence that might be perishable. They're going to look to conduct witness interviews very quickly, because it's important to get those first impressions before people start hearing a lot of information and, you know, or really their stories get affected. When they download those recorders, that will give them a lot of direction about the right questions to be asking. And so they're going to be looking at speed, at throttle position, at braking, and then that will help them understand where they need to be looking next.
Any sense of how long we're going to see the corridor shut down at this point?
I think it's really hard to tell. The challenge is with the corridor, you've got the catenary, the electrification. You've got to move those cars, get them out of the way, and you've got to repair and then inspect not just the track, but the electrification and make sure everything is working. So I'd say they've got a big job ahead of them, but I know this is hugely important. It's shutting down a vital transportation link.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Ms. Hersman, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.